Coconut is a plugin built for Android Studio, which facilitates Android developers to manage their personal data practices by annotating them in the code, and provide nudges and recommendations to better privacy practices based on the annotation content. Here I'm gonna introduce the main features of Coconut using 4 examples. In the first example, we're making a weather app that requires the location data to fetch the local weather information. Coconut will run in the background and keep track of all the permissions the app has. Then I'll call a system API to request location update periodically. After I've finished this API call, Coconut can immediately detect this API that requires access to location and that location annotation is missing. It marks this as an error and provides a quick fix to automatically generate the location annotation framework that has been partly filled based on the code analysis results. It can also automatically locate where the actual location data is returned and attach the annotation right next to the location object. At this point, the annotation is incomplete, and there are several fields that remain to be filled by the developer. When the developer hovers on the field name, such as purpose in this case, she can see a definition of purpose which helps her to make the right choice. Now let's look at the field data type highlighted in purple. This indicates that there are potential privacy-sensitive data practices. We hover on it and see it double-check with the developer whether it is okay to use more coarse-grained location data, and also provide several alternative choices. Because this purpose doesn't require such a high accuracy, we will change it to network provider to get more coarse-grained location data. Then the plugin detects now the annotation content is inconsistent with the actual code. It gives us a new warning. We use the quick fix to navigate to the annotation and see that the problematic field has been already marked in red. We use this quick fix to directly apply the speculated value to the annotation, and now we have finished the annotation for this example. The plugin assures that it has no privacy-sensitive behaviors and the consistency of some fields with the code. In this example, we want to get a unique identifier to represent the user for analytics purpose. We first pick Android ID, which is a device ID that can be shared by all other apps on the same device and can only be reset after factory reset. After finishing the API call, we generate the annotation framework with the unique identifier type, scope, resetability already been speculated based on the API call, and fill out the rest of the fields. After selecting the purpose, the plugin detects the current choice Android ID is not a good fit for the purpose because the scope is too large and the users are not able to easily reset it. It provides several alternative options in the text description of the warning, and we will use the random UUID API to create one specifically for this app. We first create a random UUID as the self-generated UID, and then fix every part of this annotation that is inconsistent with the current implementation. Then we use the shared preferences framework to persist it at somewhere that can only be accessed by this app. Here, Coconut requires a storage annotation because this is a potential point to leak users' personal data. We use the quick fix to generate the storage annotation framework. The plugin will know that the data stored via this API can only be accessed by this app, so the access control is private access. And we're not sure how long we will retain this UID, so we'll set it to be decided temporarily. With the help of Coconut, we can pick the most appropriate unique identifier for the purpose and also mitigate privacy concerns. In the third example, I will add a banner ad using Admob library. I'll follow the instructions in the official documentation, first initiate an ad request, and then call load ad with this request. Now the plugin detects there are several different types of data leave the phone via this API call, and corresponding annotations are missing. We can see that location data and unique ID is used and will be transmitted out of the phone. And if we open the overview panel, we can see that these data practices can already be seen here, even if the annotations are not added yet. And clicking on these items can navigate us to the corresponding code. Then I'll add these annotations using the quick fix. We can see that most of the fields have already been filled automatically. In Admob annotation, the location data enabled in App Settings field is related to settings controlled in a web-based dashboard, so we need to explicitly let the developer set it in this annotation. This is a toggle that many developers may not be aware of. Now let's open the overview panel again, and now we can see more details about these data practices in this panel. The last example is from a real-world app for a research study. This app collects some information related to notifications and stores it temporarily on the phone. It periodically initiates network traffic to offload this record to a remote server. Here we can see a write to the local storage without the storage annotation. Use the quick fix to add the annotation, and it's still marked by an error. Because for any storage or network API, if no personal data is stored or egressed, we need to explicitly annotate it using the not personal data annotation. In this example, we're collecting the package name of the app that generates the notification, so it's still considered as personal data. There is no existing annotation type for this data, so we'll label it using the general annotation. Generate the template using quick fix, then complete the annotation. Open the Personal Data Practice Overview panel. We can see all personal data annotated before, including the data type and purposes, and we can navigate to them. To summarize, Coconut allows developers to have better understanding of what and how personal data is collected in their app, and automatically keeps track of it. The information contained in the annotations can be maintained by normal versioning tools such as Git, and is presented in a way that is both easy to read for human beings and easy to process for machines. The process of filling the annotation is also an opportunity for developers to reflect on their privacy practices, so we'll be likely to notice some issues earlier rather than making the privacy policy or when preparing to release the app.